Well, it's Tuesday.
It is.
And we're showing you guys something we've kind of showed you in passing, but this is that great truck that Steve built for us.
My mind is completely blown away.
Oh, he did such an amazing job on this, and it may find its way over into the big canyon on the dirt road, but it's probably going to live over by the locomotive shop or something. But what we really wanted to talk to you about is what he built this out of, because there's a series of kits that are really famous kits for large-scale railroaders, and sometimes they're on the market, and more often than not, they're not. But you can find them on eBay because they've made so darn many of them. And let's start with what he started with. And this is what it is. So they were made by Monogram. They're actually a smaller scale. They're half-inch scale. And our railroad is 20th scale. But being a Big Mac truck, you can kind of get away with some stuff.
Right.
So this, sitting next to our locomotives and whatnot, looks right at home. Now, you may notice that his looks a bit different than this. This is a single axle. It also has a 4-cylinder engine. So what he did is he took 2 of this exact same kit.
Really?
And spliced them together and lengthened the frame and added another axle and took the 4-cylinder engine, took half of another engine, and he spliced it all together to make a 6-cylinder engine. And then the oil tank that's on the back of here is the guy here.
My word.
And he's taken another piece from over here and he's reshaped everything, and he found this transformer from somewhere.
Wow.
And he's used that as a load, and then he's got some 55-gallon drums back there and whatnot. In this scale, they're probably more like a 35-gallon drum. But anyway, the truck is neat, but we thought we'd share with you this amazing kit because, again, it's a legendary kit, the Monogram 1926 Mack Bulldog.
Wow.
And let's, this one's all sealed, as you can see.
Right, that one's like new.
But this one, by contrast, if I can get a hold of it.
It's running away from us.
Now, you'll notice, you may notice, that the box is a slightly different size. It's because it's been released several times, and this is the Selected Subjects re-release. So this one, it's the same exact thing, difference being this one's open.
Well, kind
In
of.
theory, it's open.
In theory. I think they just didn't put on the plastic wrap. It's resealed itself. Come on. Open, open, open. There it is.
And so this one's all complete. We've got the instructions and everything. Hard rubber tires. The Mack Bulldog came with hard rubber tires. And then all of our parts are still in their various sealed bags. But this gives you a sense of, this is the original Mack Bulldog front end, this piece here. And if that looks familiar to the Delton people, you're saying, isn't that the front end of the Delton doozy? It is the front end of the Delton doozy. I think they used one of these as their pattern while they were carving the molds, because it's this exact same vehicle. But it's a C cab. Steve built his own cab, but there's the shape of the Mack C cab, and this actually builds up into a really, really nice Mack Bulldog.
Well, wow.
Like that.
That's awesome.
And this is the tanker version. Okay, and they made this in several different variations. They had the tanker version, which, as you can see, we've got 2 of. And the one that you run into most often is the log hauler.
Oh.
Now that's pretty good for us because we've got the logging railroad. So I may just build one of these verbatim. I'll have her do the logs because these plastic logs kind of suck.
We don't want plastic
And we don't
logs.
want plastic logs. I mean, no matter how you paint them, they still look like plastic logs. So, but Karen makes the nicest looking wood, and she carves the bark in with wood carving tools, and it's actually very convincing. But this is nice, and here again, because we buy everything, here's one, and again, a different shaped box because it's been through a lot of different re-releases. And this time, our parts are not sealed in plastic, so you can get a little better sense of. But here's the C cab, aptly named because of the C shape.
Well, I think I just learned something. I've always heard of a C cab, and I get it now.
Now you get it. Yeah, it's a C-shaped cab. There's the back of the cab.
How fun!
Isn't that neat? And the frame and the bed. Here's the silly-looking plastic logs. I'll try not to drop it. I wouldn't want to drop a log.
No! Those aren't too bad.
Those aren't too bad.
They're not wooden.
Here's the frame here. Pardon me. And the seat. And if we can find the engine, here we go. And this is what Steve started with. You can kind of see what he ended up with over here. It's got 6 cylinders in 2-cylinder sections. These are those 2-cylinder sections.
Oh.
Because a lot of those early engines used a water jacket around twin cylinders. And so that's what the Mack truck has. And so he just took 2 of these and added 2 cylinders to it to turn the 4-cylinder into a 6-cylinder.
Well, that's awesome.
But it's a really nicely detailed little engine.
Oh, it is.
And then here's the chain drive here.
Oh, wow.
Because the Mack trucks all had hard rubber tires, which this does, front and back. Because these early trucks, a pneumatic tire, you'd put a big heavy load in the truck, it'd blow the tires. So hard rubber tires date back a long way, but for quite some period of time into the 20s and 30s, a lot of the big heavy trucks stuck with hard rubber tires, no air in them. You don't really care if the driver gets their spine crushed anyway, because it's a job. And so anyway.
They're back in style, you know. They call them low profile.
Hard rubber tires. And but it's really a grand kit. And so for that reason, people have been building these to use on their large-scale railroads.
Cool.
And back when people were doing a lot of half-inch, they scaled out correctly.
Yeah.
But even if we just do kind of what Steve did and build your own cab and just kind of mess around with it a little bit, you end up with something that is a larger scale.
I love the distressing that he put on there. I mean,
All
there's
the
oil
oil
there's like
spills and-
foil on the front.
And a totally scratch-built grill here. It's all brass. And but he's used the kit headlights.
Chains, real chains.
Real
hooking
chains back there.
Wow.
Anyway, legendary kit that is available out there on eBay. You just have to kind of shop around. And the one that you're most likely to find is the log hauler. Why? Because back when they were around, people didn't buy up the log haulers as much.
I see. I like that one, though.
The 2 variations that are most difficult to find, one is a dump bed flatbed.
Oh.
And we're going to show you one of those next week. But that's a really tough one to find. If you can find that one, you're doing well. And then the oil tanker is also somewhat difficult to find.
Right.
And then the log hauler is around. And then they had a basic stake bed as well. So it comes in several different variations. In fact, I think probably what Steve had, judging from the stake bed, is he had a stake bed and an oil carrier, and those 2 became this guy.
Right.
And because we were all
amazing.
buying these things up when we were around, I think Steve said he still has a couple of these in his
Oh, my.
attic. So
Wow. There you go. There's all over the place.
it's the way of things. But it's a legendary kit
Yeah.
in large-scale railroading.
That's awesome.
For that reason. Isn't that cool?
That's really
and
cool.
and the build is just to die for. Stunning. Stunning. Well, anyway, if you haven't been over to the channel, pop over to the channel, and if you're not a subscriber, you can subscribe with the blue button.
Right.
Are we ready for that? Zoink! Right there, the blue button. Well, we're not sure how you found this video on this really cool model on the internet, but we hope you didn't find it boring, and we will see you here on Sunday while we're working on the railroad.
Right.
See you then.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.